In this video, I'm going to show you how you can use mind mapping for studying. So as far as studying goes, I've been trying to figure out what are the optimal ways of studying as efficient as possible. Well, what I found is that there's 4 objectives when it comes to studying. Number 1, you want to use a tool like mind mapping to organize the large amounts of notes and information that you're going to be taking in. So a form of note taking, which mind mapping is perfect. Large amounts of information. Number 2, you want to be able to find the missing information or your lack of information or your weak areas of the area of study. Number 3, you want to be able to list additional help and resources in certain sections of your mind maps so that you could refer to that later to complement or supplement what it is that you're learning, to either grasp the concepts better or to expand on what you're learning. And number 4, you want to be able to generate a list of questions to either ask the instructor or to go and Google on the internet. You need to have you're probably going to have a list of questions. And depending on what it is you're studying and the complexity of it, you're probably going to have a huge list of questions. So your mind map has to contain these elements. So what I like to do is I start off with a centralized topic, and I'm going to give you an exact example based on my experience. I recently started learning how to code iPhone apps. And this is a vast area. There's a lot to it. It's very complex, but I'm comfortable in learning how to do it. And while I'm not doing it at an accelerated pace because I've got a lot of other things going on, I'm learning step by step and using this exact objectives formula that I put together here. And here's an example of how you would break it down. So fundamentally, when it comes to programming iPhone apps, you need to know Objective-C, which is a programming language. You also need to know Xcode, which is the application used to develop the iPhone apps and make your life easier and things like that. You also, like I said, need to have a list of resources to study. So I study from places like YouTube. I also read books, and I go to blogs and forums to get information to build on my knowledge. What kind of knowledge? Well, my Objective-C and my Xcode. There's other things with iPhone apps. There's marketing. There is also things like the iTunes store where your apps are going to be listed, or the App Store, knowing the specific elements related to that. There's also things like the finance pieces of applications, like the costs. You want to punch some numbers. Say you're going to create an iPhone app so that you could put it in the App Store so you can supplement your income or earn some money with it. Essentially, there's the financial numbers piece. There's a bunch of elements with creating iPhone apps, and the list goes on. But as I go and study all this information, I'm going to create my subtopics, and I'm going to keep building and building on this mind map. Then what I'm going to do is, so this is going to organize my large amounts of information because this mind map is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then after that, I'm going to find my missing weak areas, and then I'm going to go and look for resources on YouTube with the books, blogs, and forums to get better at that area. And then I'm also going to list, for example, there's certain YouTube channels, there's certain books. I'm going to list them all in here so that I can have easy access to them when I'm studying. I can add things like, for example, right-click and add a hyperlink to a YouTube video or a website. I can also right-click and in the notes section list the books that I want to talk about. Now, when it comes to specific code in Objective-C, let's take arrays here. I can also right-click on that and put the very specific code in here. So, you can organize your code. And those of you not familiar with iPhone app development, you can easily see how you can take this and apply it to anything that you're studying. Then after that, I'm going to create a list of questions to ask others about issues that I'm having, because not all the information is available on YouTube and books, or some of the information is just kind of buried somewhere on the internet. But I want to be able to ask the right questions. And I just keep building and building and building. So I use the notes to help me with that. I use the hyperlinks to link to websites. And I also use the record function, which is also available only in Pro, where you just hit the record button. You just record yourself talking and you hit stop and it'll automatically add it in there. Like right there, it's in there. So, and you can add images, you can add screenshots, you can add all kinds of things and build upon it like that. And that's essentially how you create a study mind map. So if you have any questions on that, just let me know.